Welcome to a new episode of Beyond the Horizon. I am Tabea Zoé. As you know, this is my podcast, and I want to take you into my experience of recording this episode to illustrate my relationship to time and how I'm not really managing time, but I manage my energy instead. Right now, I have 45 minutes left to record this episode. That is a very limited amount of time for me to work with. I usually just clear out my morning to record an episode, even if it just takes me 45 minutes to actually record something. I just love this feeling of spaciousness and time. But this feeling of spaciousness is not really about the amount of time that I have. It is about the state of consciousness that I am in that time frame. And so often, and this also used to be me, when I would have such a limited amount of time, I would get nervous. I would feel this limitation as a pressure. I would think, okay, now I need to rush through this thing. Now let me get started. Okay, how do it would be like I was fast forwarding and trying to make it happen as quickly as possible. But as soon as you start to move quickly, rush, hurry in your experience, time actually often feels like it's running out even faster. It's as if time is matching your energy. Hmm, what's that about? The only thing you can really manage is your energy. You are not in charge of time, but your experience of time is not limited by the amount of minutes that you have, but it is the limitation of how much potential you allow in every moment. When you rush, you limit how much potential can come through. You do not open up the spaciousness that you seek. The spaciousness that you seek by, for example, giving yourself 3 hours to record a podcast episode, as I usually do, is how much potential you allow to enter in a moment. So, right now, how I record this episode is that I am slowing down. I do watch the minutes go by as I talk, but still, I am leaning even more back into this experience. I am allowing myself to stay in my feminine energy, which is the state of consciousness of open awareness. I pause, I slow down, I listen in, I kind of call back my energy into this very moment that is kind of focusing everything into this moment, but at the same time, I'm opening up. I am opening up to the trust that I know what to say. I don't need to rush. I do not need to think ahead to move forward in this moment. And yeah, I just allow myself to be in the spaciousness without thinking about, okay, how can I make this happen as quickly as possible? Will I manage to record this in 45 minutes? You will see. But I will, of course. I have 45 minutes. I have all the time in the world because I have time. I am in communion with time. I am in relationship to time. I feel time. And instead of telling time, you are running out too fast, you are so limited, there's never enough of you, I'm like, yeah, okay. You give me the space in your limitation. Usually, I release a podcast episode every 2 weeks on Wednesday morning at 10. I have set myself that schedule. This also feels spacious to me. This feels doable for me with all of the other things I love to do. And yes, I do set myself this rhythm. It's an easy rhythm for me. And in setting myself this rhythm, it doesn't feel like a deadline. It feels like a commitment. Deadlines are where your visions come to die. There's death in the name. This is the point where I do not give life to this any longer. But life and time are this close. It doesn't really match the vibe that I feel energetically between life and time. I do not believe, like, when I'm talking about the energetics here, I do not believe that life would ever abandon time. Life is running through time. Time is always holding life. So by saying that it's a deadline, you are putting a stop to the natural flow of energy that is running through that project, for example. It's something else if you set yourself a rhythm in which you do things and you hold it as a commitment. Now you are not relating to time anymore, but you are related to life, to the energy running through. You manage energy by giving it a commitment, by giving that energy a space to flow into. Because when you relate to energy, it is natural to be in your masculine energy, to create containment or direction for that energy. This is what energy loves. This is what life loves. But time is the ultimate masculine containment of life. So if you try to manage time and give time a container, it's like, I am the container. What are you doing? I am giving you the container. Why are you trying to tell me how to hold you? In relationship to time, it's about surrendering, leaning back, trusting, flowing, being in your feminine. When you set yourself a rhythm, a commitment of how you are moving your energy, how you are stewarding the energy in your life from the first spark of inspiration to the release of that idea, it becomes much easier. So I have the schedule every 2 weeks. I release a new episode. And usually I do one by myself and then the next in conversation with someone else. This is what I usually do. But I am not the manager of time. I am the manager of energy. And I haven't found the right person for this week's episode. And a lot of people would stress about that as well. They would say, like, okay, I have set myself a schedule. I need to fill it in the exact same way. I need to stick to that plan. Okay, how can I quickly find someone? How can I quickly find someone else to fill the spot? How can I manage the timing of things so that it still happens in the right timing? And it's your timeline, but it's not. You are not in charge of the timing. The divine is, time is. So by saying, okay, this needs to happen at this very moment, it's like, again, I'm trying to dominate the timing of things, and that's not really your job. So what do? I manage the energy. I usually really focus on listening to my intuitive insights in who is the right match for the podcast. Who do I want to reach out to? I look for that pull of an energetic match. And this week I just did, or this past month, I haven't had that anymore. So instead of abandoning my commitment to the podcast, I am stepping up. I am filling that space with my energy because this is all I can do. You could, of course, ignore your intuition, ignore your ability to sense what is right, and go with some form of compromise and settle into something just to fill the space. You could abandon the rhythm that you have set and just leave out that week, leave people hanging who really want to listen and not close that gap. For me, what feels right is to listen to my intuition, to be true to myself, and to still uphold my commitments in the way that I can, in the way that is within my power. What is life trying to tell me? What is the lesson here? What is time trying to show me? What is the lesson here? I am in relationship to both of them. I'm stewarding energy. I'm stewarding my life force. I'm giving it direction. I'm giving it form. And I surrender to time. I listen to time. I allow time to hold me. I allow time to meet me, to orchestrate life around my action while I surrender, to morph and fill up the space that I give it in my life. How long does something take? There is this funny thing that usually we fill up the space in time that we give something. When I say it will take me 3 hours, it will take 3 hours. Because time morphs to our state of consciousness. And when I decide to take 3 hours, when I come in with that expectation, this is how I experience time. But when I make a different decision, when I say I have 45 minutes to do this, I'm setting a direction for my energy to flow into. I am giving my energy a container, and time meets me there. Time orchestrates everything around that decision. I need time in this present moment because this is all there is. And I open to the potential that time holds in every single moment. So what else wants to come through? Everything beyond the present moment is just a construct of time. The only place you can meet time is in presence. So everything that you imagined and made up around the timing of your daily life, of the rest of your life, is not real time. Time is here, meeting you here, opening the door to the realm of potential. recalibrating, reorganizing everything around your construct, your idea, your narrative of time. So, how do you want to perceive that? What limits do you want to set? Really want to set? And most of the narratives that we set for the future are a limitation. I mean, I'm also talking about myself because this is an ongoing building of a relationship, an ongoing development. When I look back, how I used to relate to time, and I do want to give you one level that I think will really push you into this way of being with time in a second, in a minute, in time. So I used to schedule everything. I used to be obsessed with my planners. I used to do time blocks. I used to do bullet journals with all of my to-do lists. I used to develop different structures of how can I really, really, really manage my time. It was it was all in the name of productivity. I started my whole self development journey because I wanted to be more productive. I thought that the thing that was wrong with me was that I wasn't productive enough. I wasn't using my time right. That was where I started. And when I went down that path, I realized that I always felt like I wasn't productive enough because I had tied my self worth to my productivity. I didn't feel good enough in general, no matter what I did. I used to always be busy because I thought this would make me worthy of love. I was constantly trying to prove myself to everybody, to teachers, to my parents, to other people, to the world, to reality, to life, to myself. I was constantly rushing because I wanted to get out of the situation that I was in without really knowing how I could create a different reality. I always thought if I only would be done with all the things I need to do, then I could relax. Then I could pause and then I could think about what I actually need to do, what I can actually change. But until then, I cannot. I would be in a constant cycle of over giving, over delivering, overdoing, driving myself down into the ground until I needed to rest because I was so sick that I couldn't do anything else. And then I would have a guilty conscience for even resting when I was sick. And as soon as I was a little bit better, I would start running again, running against time. So there, of course, was a breaking point where I could not go on any longer in the same way. I needed to stop everything. I needed to pause completely. But this was not when my relationship to time changed. Even when I had less to do, I was still rushing in life. I mean, and when I had little to do because I canceled everything, all of my commitments, everything that I needed to do, I felt so bad. I was so ashamed. I felt so much guilt. And this is when I shifted my priorities. I realized how I was driving on productivity as my source of validation. And I shifted things around and said, I am more important. My health is the most important thing. And I started to feel myself again. And I noticed that when I am relaxed, when I allow myself to be who I am, suddenly I get everything done. Suddenly, I am in such a flow state that I don't need a lot of time. Suddenly, I do not feel any pressure for external validation because I am so fulfilled by what I am doing. And with that, I discovered that my natural way of being is in my feminine energy, and I did not know the word feminine energy yet. I would describe it as creative, open, surrendered, lean back, spacious. I realized and discovered or understood what it was in my brain first, in my state of consciousness first. I realized that there are two ways I am doing things. Sometimes I'm in this open awareness where I'm very aware of everything that's going on inside of me and around me. I'm open to all of it. I feel like I'm open to ideas coming in, open to the inspiration, open to see connections. My energy is more spread out in diversion. And then sometimes I'm in a different state, in focused attention, where I really zoom into what I am doing. I forget everything that is all around me. I'm very in it, focused, logical, more strategic. I don't just see the connections, but I draw the conclusions from those connections. I filter everything down. I distill things. I refine things. I'm doing, I'm taking the steps. I'm in action. I'm in forward movement. And this is what I wanted to tell you. If you want to really shift your relationship to time and start to manage your energy, start here. Start in recognizing when you are more in your masculine, in this focus of your attention and energy, and when you are more in your feminine, when you are in this open awareness, in this state of diversion. Notice what happens in between those two states. Which one feels more comfortable? Where do you hold judgment around a state? What are your connotations that you hold for those two states? When you break it all down and just really focus in on how you feel in your being, in your consciousness, what are all the layers that you have built, all of the narratives on top of that? And there are ways to shift your energy. And those two things, noticing your state of consciousness and then also shifting between the two states of consciousness, only supports you if you completely change your relationship to time. Because you could do all of this as like a little hack. That's what I want to say it beforehand. You could use this as a hack, as the new and improved management tool for your time. And it would still not change a thing. For me, this was a step into a direction. It was a management tool for my energy so that I could become more aware. And this is not something that I learned from someone else. This is what I developed. I developed this. Nobody taught me this, but this is what I developed for myself until I outgrew it. Now I don't need to think about managing my energy that much. What you do is you notice and track what energy you need to be in to do a task. In what state of consciousness is it easy for you to finish whatever you need to do? Is it really only focus that you need, or is it maybe also possible in a state of open awareness? Would it maybe even benefit the task at hand to be in a state of open awareness? For example, if you give a presentation, your first impulse may be that you need to be in focused attention. But actually, when you present to a group of people, you need to be tuned into them. So it becomes easier to bring it into more of a conversation when you stay open. You maybe think that while you create something, you need to be focused on that thing, but maybe this is a point in the creative process where you need iteration and you need to open up your awareness again to even see different possibilities of creation. And then you feel into what state you are really in and you do the tasks that match your energy. And then we get to the other thing. You can shift your state of consciousness. I can shift it like that. For me, it is a nuance between being in my feminine and in my masculine, and I can easily switch between those two states. For me, both of them are available to me in presence. So when I come back to the moment, I can decide, okay, how do I want to meet life right now? And it's not a big deal. But there are a few things that you can do. You can come more into focused attention by hyping yourself up, for example, through movement, through coffee, through having the same rhythm, ritual, routine, always the same place. It all gives you a form of structure that makes it easier for you to focus your energy again. Being hyped up, being excited, also, like even with coffee, easily brings you into a focused state. You can shift into open awareness by meditating, by feeling into your body, by slowing down through movement, for example, by activating your senses, by going for a walk. For example, when you go for a walk, you go for an intuitive walk where you really tune into where you are drawn. At every crossing, at every corner, you decide intuitively which direction you want to go in. It's like really practicing your intuition. You could go into Pinterest and look at a lot of different inspiration because this also opens you up to see more connections to kind of go with what pulls you and you collect something and form a network. This is also open awareness. Or you could sort through things. That's also very easy when you're in open awareness, when you need to notice something. And I think, for example, when we talk more of a process, for example, when you write a lot of notes down, as I do in my notes app, you could, when you are already in a state of open awareness, you could look through the notes and sort them. And then often you naturally switch more into focused attention when you discover a connection or start to distill things down. So, this is how you can switch within a task. You can use those hacks, but I think in them it is important that you don't need them. You can shift your state of consciousness differently as well by becoming more attuned to your energy and more skilled at stewarding and directing your energy. And then, and this is where I feel like I am at right now, you just do the things that need to get done. There's not a lot of resistance, guilt, pressure. I do what I love. Actually, most of the things that I need to do in my life, or that I do in my life, are things that I absolutely love to do. And when there is resistance, I know something else is going on and I face that. And for the little amount of things that I need to do that I don't really like, I just direct my energy and do them. I do not have a schedule besides my set meetings with other people. I have my rhythms. I follow what I want to do. And like very, very productive. But it has everything to do with how I do things and also the systems that I have created around everything that I do. The masculine containment in different forms in my life so that I do not need to feel the need to manage and dominate the one thing that I cannot: time. I focus on the things that I hold power over, that I can influence, instead of always desperately trying to control what cannot be controlled. So, I have 11 minutes left, and I feel like this has come to a closure by itself. Thank you for joining me today for this episode of Beyond the Horizon. We will see what comes in 2 weeks. Maybe now the rhythm has changed and next time will be a conversation. I don't know. I will follow the impulses. And if you want to deepen into that relationship to time, I have multiple things I want to offer. And one thing is that if you are a subscriber to the podcast, if you listen to this a lot, I want to give you the opportunity to come onto this podcast not as a guest, but by asking a question. What this will look like is that we will hop on a call together for 20 minutes and you can ask your question about what I usually talk about, and specifically about time. And I will mentor and coach you through that for 20 minutes for free. What you need to agree to is that I will publish this on the podcast. So if you want to have that opportunity to be directly mentored by me for free, check out the link down below. And if you want to dive deeper into time, your relationship to time, and even understanding the feminine and the masculine as these two states of consciousness and really training those two states of consciousness, this is what you find in the Creative Waters Way. In the Creative Waters Way, you find 9 journeys to understand the energetic architecture of life and to come into this way of being where you move as one with life. There's already one journey, one course, all about time, building that relationship to time. And there's another one about the feminine and the masculine as two states of consciousness that I also recommend if you liked this whole episode. And there's also a journey on the creative process, which I think also matches this episode very well because it's about playing with your feminine and masculine, and it's really about managing the energy of an idea to come into life. So yeah, this will help you a lot in managing your energy. and playing with your energy. There's also one about alignment. So, this is also where you learn how to manage your energy or understand your energy a little bit better, and this natural stream of energy that can guide you forward. So, I mean, these were just four journeys off the top of my head that could help you if this is something that you struggle with, time management. So, I highly recommend joining the Creative Watches Way. And then, last but not least, I have one offer that is called Mountain Magic. And it is an intimate retreat for just 4 women that I will hold here in my studio, at my home, in the mountains, in the Austrian Alps. And it's all about developing a new relationship to time through presence, nature, and the integration of polarity. We will work with the elements here, do a lot of energy work, and do a lot of exercises and so on to come into the present moment and see what is in the way for you to come into this new relationship to time. This will be such an incredible, personal, immersive experience. My first ever retreat. So if you're curious about that, find the link down below to check that out. Those are my 3 offers. Everything you find down below, everything else you also find down below. And if you loved this episode, please leave a comment, a review, message me. Until next time, goodbye.